Well, g'day guys, it's Sunday the 30th of July 2023. Welcome to the ZF Restoration video number 36. I do want to include this as part of the restoration video because it's important. It's more of a video log for me to use to carry on with the car rather than inform people of what I'm actually doing to the car, because I'm at a stage now with the dashboard installation. I sort of suspected as we're putting the dashboard together that we were jumping ahead of ourselves. I just didn't feel like we were putting things in the right sequence. There's footage of Ethan at Singleton. For my family and friends who know Ethan, they're going to love to see that. The parade at Singleton was his graduation from the School of Infantry, so he's now a fully fledged soldier. Pretty cool. He's standing on his own 2 feet. What a kid! What a kid! What a man! Yeah, what a man! I'm proud of your son. And the bulk of the footage on this video is I stripped the AC and the dashboard out of the ZG donor car. All the engine bay components for the AC is still in place. I'm going to take them out. The AC is going to go into the coupe. All the wiring as well, the Loom, that's now sitting in the boot of the coupe, which is good. I basically worked my way through methodically, step by step, pulling this ZG dash out and filming it. And pretty much I bagged and tagged every single thing, so I've got all of the parts that I need to put this together. So when I go to reinstall it, I'll just print out a list of, okay, this goes in first, that goes in second, that third, fourth, fifth. Also took the T-bar, the center console out, the T-bar auto, took it all, because I'm going to put the T-bar auto in this car. Why not?
Sergeant will now hand over to the parade commander. The reviewing officer will now inspect and issue the soldiers of Longtown Platoon with their battalion lanyards. This platoon stands before you as qualified soldiers. They have worked hard over the last 17 weeks, demonstrating their resolve and commitment to learn the suite of skills we require of an infantry soldier. They spend their first 9 weeks of training in the barracks, mastering their skills across various weapon systems. They are taught how to strip, assemble and effectively employ their personal service rifles, grenade launchers, machine guns, rocket launchers, hand grenades, pistols and bayonets. They learn how to operate advanced communication systems and develop their physical fitness and close-quarter combat techniques, all in preparation to deploy and develop their craft in the field environment. In the field, their luxuries consist of sleep, cold rations, and water. When they've mastered the basic requirements of soldiering and working in a field environment, they progress to live fire exercises. enjoyed today's activities. I now invite you to move to the side of the parade ground and await the soldiers of Longtown Platoon who will soon be available for photos. Soldiers from Longtown Platoon will attend a short function at the Curry BC Club prior to being released on leave.
Look at this fella here, man. Ain't he? Jeez, he changed a little blonde-headed sandy kid sanding the car to this. Yeah, need that. Oh man, proudest day of my life. Look at this young man. What a kid. So this is what I come up with, so I can push and pull the car in and out of the woodshed. I reckon they're cool. Yeah, so it doesn't clash, which is good. Just put the wheel nuts on to centre it up because it's hanging. So that fits really well. Disc brakes on the rear. Just for the easy exercise, I'm going to take the seats out, take the front seats out. Okay, so we're sort of ready to start disassembling things. I've taken the centre console out, I've taken the front seats out, and the centre console. That's all pretty basic stuff. Great to see the hump is in good condition for the T-bar auto. The steering wheel's really good in the centre, but the wheel's typical with the rest of them. It's got a few cracks in it. Beautiful. I might just be able to steal that rather than take the whole bloody steering column out. Might be able to take that with those 4 screws. Step 2 is hump removal. So I'm just going to unplug that. So this little earth strap goes on the bottom right hand corner. Under the car. I've got to take that because I've got a column auto and it's got that which goes up through the firewall into the... Oh, there you go. Makes it easier to get at. Yeah, so I've got to take that off. I'm sure there'll be a split pin in the back. Okay, just for my own memory's sake, it goes on the very top, and on the bottom there was nothing attached. So I have to check on my gearbox inside if I've got exactly the same type of setup. It goes onto this top of this lever here. Fantastic. Okay, so part of the hump removal, so we've got the little tiny loom for the lights on the center console. It goes in that direction, so it fastens, that point fastens, which is also adjustable, which is good. So that's good. That's a part that I need because this would be for a T-bar auto, and there'll be a different one for the column change auto. Now this should technically just come straight out. There you go. This hump just sits over the seat brace just a little bit, but the screw hole is actually not through the seat brace, it's through the floor. So just as I thought, there's a different mounting position. These brackets are not present in my car. I have one bracket further back for the dicky seat to bolt to. It's quite a strong bracket because everything hinges off that. But I need to get these off. I need the location. I'm just going to grind them through the welds where they've tacked them. So I'll just mark them. So from this seam to the very, very front, exactly 40 mil. Now the gap between them, 97 mil. So overall, we should be from the very back to that seam on the seat brace, 225. 225 from there to there. Beautiful. Okay, so from the top of the tunnel, right at the seat brace seam, to the start of the hole is, let's say, 87 mil. The old cigarette lighter, and in step 3's bag, the ashtray, or is it? It's blank. Oh yeah. He's going to get dirty. He's a bit gorgeous, a little golden retriever. So we're still in step 3. The headlight switch has to be clipped in and accessed through this open hole, the plug on the back. So it's got 3 terminals that are let's say occupied, and it's got 3 pins there. So in the step 3 bag, just some real easy obvious things that go in last. The cigarette lighter, of course, the ashtray, the 3 screws and the end cap for the driver's side. Step 4 is the glove box insert and door removal. That's the key. That's good. Little screws. This glove box insert needs to go into the coupe for the AC because it's smaller than the standard. Has to be shorter in its depth because of the thicker, bigger air conditioner, heater box. Okay, so that's the door, which I have one. So it's got the lock on it. This creature. And this, see, this is what really miffs me. That little striker plate and the two screws, have no idea where that is. Okay, so the next step is step 5. 1, 2, 3 nuts which need to come off. We need to drop the steering wheel or steering column. So I've got 2 of the nuts off. That's the third. So we now need to take these out. There's 4 quite stubby bolts. I've loosened them off to finger tight. 3 and the 4th. Now this is the ignition stuff, I think, or yeah, at least your indicators. Now that plugs in, it runs down between these 2 plastic spaces, sits flat. That bracket sandwiches everything up, sandwiches that cable. Now it goes down around the right hand side, up over the top, and it just plugs in up there. The handbrake. Now the plate, you can see the plate on the handbrake there. That plate that sandwiches the dash facade, so that plate has to be undone and removed. I had to cut this. There was missing 1 nut and 1 bolt from the underside, from inside, and this one was just spinning. So might pay to almost weld inside the frame, weld 2 bolts before I try to assemble the handbrake, because that I had to cut with a grinder. It wasn't a captive bolt. That's what happens when you try and take a handbrake, unscrew a handbrake from inside the engine bay with the motor in. There's no room, and there's lots of sharp things down there. I'm working my way towards trying to get this dash facade off. That was sandwiching the dash facade, so it had to come off. So it can't go on before the dash facade if you're putting it back together. 7 is the rear window demister. Simply 2 plugs and a light. I've already tagged the plug and the little light globe. We're on to step 8, which is the radio facade removal. So the knobs are off. Oh, that whole thing's broken. It's broken through there. It's a genuine Ford radio, so we want to keep that. The dial doesn't move. Oh. Okay, so this is all broken. So the vents for the driver's side are out. That's it. But it's broken. But that's okay, it's fixable. Now the bottom corner of that is broken, but it is being glued in to there. Somebody's glued it in. And this is broken through there. Okay, not really a big problem, I can re-glue that. Now there's 5 screws to get this on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they're all the same size, except those 2 were missing. It's cold and it's rainy. Drizzly. So there was supposed to be a screw in the bottom there. No screw. 2 screws up the top. 1 Phillips and 1 normal slotted screw. Okay, so that's the aerial. So disconnect the power. That looks like the power. Oh no, that ain't the power. Two fuses. 2 little tiny short fuses, one's gone. It's just a light globe. And an earth strip for the stereo. Oh yeah, okay. So that light goes in the back of the stereo, at the top there. Probably is. I want to get this bracket out. That bracket is for the support for the back of the stereo. Now it's bolted up underneath that frame. Okay, well, it's screwed up, but there's a little plastic, looks like a box. I'll show it to you. It's this box here. Now there's a plug to it. Don't know what that plug's for, don't know what that box is for, but it seems to be just all at one little piece. So yeah, I have no idea what that is. So that's the plug. It's a little black box. Okay, and it just screws up underneath into those two locators. One long screw that goes through the center of the box, and one short screw which just goes off to the side of the box, and they hold this little stereo support bracket. Okay, so that one of the screws goes into that. The big screw that goes through that goes into that, as well as one shorter screw. So this is step 10. This is the heater controls. I'm putting the screws back in because that can't be attached to the facade when we go to take the facade out. But I don't want to unhook any of that until I know where we are and what we're doing. Once the facade's out, I can see. So that's step 10, semi-removal of the heater controls. And then there's up under here, up in there there's a screw hole, a keyway. So there's 1, 2 and 3. I reckon the crash pad comes off now. So it has very few fastening screws and it operates on clips. What have I done with the two screws? That and that. That hold, that screws into there and there. So we've got only 5 fastening screws. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one in the end there, in the very end. So 6 fastening screws for the crash pad. So step 12, once you've got the crash pad off, you can just so easily get to your headlight switch and your wiper switch. There. So instead of trying to take the risk of breaking your beautiful and very rare switches, you can easily get to them on both sides. Step 13, I'm going for the holy grail to get this dash facade off. All of the nuts, bolts, screws are released from underneath. We've got these 2 up top. Pete and I discovered the proper location. There's 2 major, I'll show them to you once I get this facade off. There's 2 brackets that bolt onto the plenum, and that's what these are. This one I loosened before. I might be able to get it finger tight. Yeah, it's finger tight. Okay, so we've got a bit of movement there now. Got to take this off just a, this is so hard on the body. Right, that one doesn't do anything. missed. I wonder if I've missed another one. Okay, so we've got movement all there, it's free. But something in here, I've got the whole dash facade loose except for this zone here. Now I've just been down to the shed to check the other one, and there's 3 screws that screw that to that, and they're inside there and you can't access them. So I believe this whole dash frame has to come out in one. Let's use my adjustable little spanner. Yeah, there's no way that you can get up under there with a screwdriver with all the ducting in there. That dash facade has to come out with this. There's no way. There's no other way.
One
Fucked up on the screw. Why would they do that? Yeah, one directly underneath the steering column bracket. I reckon that's us. Okay, this bonnet release cable, the actual mounting bracket, also has a little relay. Okay, there's a little sort of rectangular relay. There's only one bolt through the bonnet release, and sandwiched in amongst it is this little relay. Okay, I'm just going to disconnect this dimmer switch. That's the plug for the dimmer switch. I'll take all these lights out. It's the belts, it's the oil, alternator, and brake. And there'll be part of the loom holding it in place. There's some sort of plastic clip on the speedo cable, and it's very brittle. I'm going to attack it from a different, so that, just taking that vent out, so that's a glove box light. Now we've got 3 screws down in there. Which hold the whole thing together. I can get to them now. Now that I've taken that duct out, surely you shouldn't have to do this. So we've got the 2 pieces separate now, but still can't get them out. If I could only get that speedo cable off. Alright, so we're still on stage 13, the removal of the dash frame and the plastic dashboard itself, and I think they all come out in one, and I also believe that the speedo comes out with the dash facade, which is attached to the dash frame. But I cannot get the speedo cable out from the back. I can actually get my hand in around to the back of the speedo. It's got this really dicky clip. I mean, gone are the days we used to have the, the threaded thing. This is a plastic clip now. Oh, okay, so it's pretty simple. So you've got a hole there and a little plastic tongue. A little plastic tab, okay. Now that just sits in there. Now, so it sits proud on the top. So all you do is you push it down from the top and you can slide it back. Okay. Yes. 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 That's it. Okay, so we've got the speedo cable out. It's the only thing holding us in. The only other thing that's holding us in is this vent. This loom is attached. We've got to detach that. A few little bits hanging on, which are going to have to be taped and marked. Okay, so that wire, which is an earth strap, to the side of the lighter. And this one goes to the back of the lighter. So that earth goes onto the back of the ashtray. So this is the main sort of feed for the speedo. Now we've got a couple more little wires up here. So that goes to the dimmer. Okay, and this one goes to the clock. Ta-da! So step 13 is the most complicated part. The speedo, okay, needs to be in the dash. The clock can be in the dash. The dash itself, the dash facade, needs to be attached to the to the dash frame only because of these three screws, which are screwing from behind. They screw the dash frame to the dashboard itself. So these two items need to be together. Now, there's a whole series of screws, or nuts, bolts and screws along the bottom there, which I would recommend putting in prior to installation, because those three screw holes aren't enough to hold all of the weight of the whole thing. So, you know, you could probably put that one in and a couple there and maybe that one, just to give it some support and stability, because if two quite weighty pieces are swinging around and all those relying on those three little screws, it's all over Red Rover. Just a few observations before we carry on to step 14. The loom, yeah, it does go up over. It's only that I've moved it. So the loom goes up over those two brackets. The speedo cable comes in through that hole there, that slot. All of the ducting's still in, even though those two pieces have fallen out. So step 14, I'll be relieved. This bracket, that bracket, and the centre bracket. Okay, so that's step 14. One right in the centre of the steering column. That's one. Can't say I recall seeing that part there. Okay, so I'll take all of this. Jesus Christ, what the hell's that? It's a locking pin. But two earths. Oh, that one's broken. So this earth, don't know where that one went, but it's broken. And this one here goes into the main loom, and it's quite a solid earth. So that earth is semi-redundant. Now these 4 wires. So the brown wire goes onto this flux capacitor at the top. This is the dash loom removal. Now we've only got one. Oh, that's nice. So that goes down through the top of the ducting and through to the T-bar auto. So 15 was the removal of the AC heater control, and I'm going to put that with the AC stuff for the coupe. 16 is a Fairlane dash loom, but it's got all the necessary plugs and whatnot for the AC, so that's going to go with the coupe stuff. So that's step 16 was the removal of the dash loom. So part 17 is the removal of all of the ducting. Pretty much straightforward. There's that one, there's that one. This one here comes out, it just clips on there. But I'm going to take that bracket off as part 17, as step 17 as well, and put it with the ducting because it holds the ducting up. So the ducting comes out now, part 17. Okay, so the ducting for that Y-shaped duct for the windscreen is attached with these little clips, but the screws are on top. As you can see there, screws are on top, but the windscreen's in the road. Can't get them out, so I'm going to have to cut the tops off those screws, because I want to retain those clips. They're just a couple of generic tiny little screws. So I'm going to cut the tops off, cut the heads off with a grinder, and then I'll be able to remove that duct. This is the hardest one to get out because you need the windscreen out. So step 18, I've taken the throttle assembly out. Wasn't that easy. It's doable, but it's out, and the vent is in the road. The driver's side vent is in the road, so it'd pay if this assembly went in before that driver's side vent goes in, and of course the steering column. I might have to put the steering column in pretty early in the piece actually, and the brake pedal box. I might have a go at getting that speedo cable out now. I can see it all the way through to the firewall, so I'll pull that out. And I've got it sitting out there. So I think it's got to go from the inside out, so from the inside of the firewall, pull it through to outside the firewall. Okay, just up there, you can see the speedo cable. And it's also got down on the passenger side chassis thingy. It's got a bolt, so the speedo cable crosses over the top of the bell housing, connects to a fastener into the firewall right behind the left hand side rocker cover, and yeah, so I'll take that off now. I want to remove the speedo cable completely. Put that into the firewall with your rubber grommet and whatnot. God, amazing, I found it. That's amazing. I found it. Okay. So that backs onto the fan. Now we've got a black and white air hose. So So that's just the airline for the vacuum control. Just runs up behind the box there somewhere. Yeah. Okay, so step 21 is the removal of the air box, the heater box. But to do that, there's not only the 5 bolts on the firewall, there's also this creature, the AC. Okay, top and bottom. Top hose runs to the top of the compressor, bottom hose runs to this little catch can or whatever it is. Okay, well that wire, that runs through to the AC pump as well, so this wire will probably come through to the firewall somewhere as well. But I'm trying to get this off from the back. Okay, word of warning, before you put an engine in, put this thing on. Okay, now it's got 2 very similarly sized holes at the back and quite a pronounced large hole at the top on the front and a small hole at the bottom. Now it goes on this way, okay, not that way. So that squiggly piece of wire on top, that's facing the passenger side. Now I need to trace and track these. Okay, so that's done. Get that out of the road. Now the passenger side heater hose comes out now. I don't know where the far out that goes. It looks like it's had water running through it. Oh, I've just lost that. Okay, so that's the yellow one. Okay, now I don't know where that tap goes, what that is, where that goes. Okay, so it's out of the left hand side, passenger's side. Okay, so it looks like this hose, that hose there, was joined to this hose, but something's rusted off and broken. Looks like a sort of a flow control. So it comes out of the back of the carby into this thing here, so it looks like it goes that way. Okay, so it's broken, so that's okay, it's good to know. Okay, so the yellow, someone's got another little, yeah, I don't know what this device is down here, don't know what that's for. It looks like some sort of aftermarket jobby, but it's got the power to the AC unit going to it, which is this one. I have no idea what it's for. And it was attached to the firewall there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to disconnect it at that point, at that T. Okay. And I'm going to take that all as one piece. Now we've also got another wire running to it. That goes through the firewall. Okay, so we've got a wire from that. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect that yellow one from that vacuum thingy, and it continues into the firewall there, the yellow one. I don't know where that one goes. It's got a blue stripe on it, and this other one also with a blue stripe, so it goes to the catch canister. So unknown, it's got a screw in it anyway. This one goes through to this little catch canister down here. Just on there. So I'll take that off. So that goes to this. I'll just put a piece of tape around that. Just right on that catch. Now that wire there goes to this little regulator or diaphragm thingy. I don't know what it is. So I'll just put diaphragm. So all of those are good to go through now. So we've got to take that off. So that goes to that hose there. It's a tap of some description, but it's rusted rotten. It'll be the on-off for the heater. It's really weird how both hoses go to the back of the carburetor. One there and the one with the other clamp goes. Now we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are metric, 12 mil.